and kittens. I'm Larry Butler, and this is my daughter,
Bonnie.
and this is Maggie, our magical cat. Yeah, welcome to Little Stinkers, where we critique children's films and tell you how smelly some of them are. Yeah, oh, I think that might be the kitty. Today we're ripping into a film called A Talking Cat with Our Critical Claws. Yeah. Oh boy. This so-called children's movie was released in 2013, believe it or not, about a talking cat. Yeah. And it's in the doghouse with us, kind of like this one right here is in the doghouse usually. But because it's one of the worst animal movies we've ever seen in our lives. We've never experienced anything that bad. And we are cat lovers. At the end of this bomb we suffered through, we had absolutely shredded our sofa. And Maggie's fur and my fur were flying everywhere. This film was extremely imperfect, pun intended.
So much we had to lay down and take a long cat nap.
Yeah, talk about boring. Wow. In a minute, Bonnie's going to give you the plot. But first, we're going to find out a little bit about the actors and director and some interesting info you may not want to know. The cast includes the lead actor, Johnny Whitaker, who plays Phil, the father. Wow! She had her tail up in the air. Had to do it. He started acting at the age of 4 in 1963. He had a great TV career and with shows like Bonanza. Remember Bonanza? Dun, 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 dun. Bewitched, Green Acres, and films like Tom Sawyer and Sigmund and the Sea Monster. Now, who hasn't seen that one, huh? All right, also starring is Justin Cohn, who plays Phil's son, Chris. Christine DeBelle plays Susan, the mother of Tina, played by Janice Peebles. Christine DeBelle had a great career in TV as well. You may have seen her. Her first TV role in 1973 was in The Young and the Restless, which is a soap opera, followed by Chips, a police movie. It was a series. And Days of Our Lives, another soap opera, and The Three Wicked Witches. But the biggest star of them all is Eric Roberts. Yeah, who doesn't know that guy? He's been everywhere. He does the voice of Duffy, the magical talking cat. But Mr. Roberts has been in over 600 movies, apparently, on IMDb. And such hits as Runaway Train, The Dark Knight, The Expendables, and The King of the Gypsies, in which he was nominated for an Academy Award.
The actual cat was played by Squeaky, the cat who had the good sense of never working in showbiz again.
Yeah, that's for sure. The two other principal actors are co-starred in this chaotic ball of twine are Allison Seek, who plays Franny, the love interest of Chris, and Daniel Danis, who plays Trent, who was a dumbass. The suffering son of Susan and brother to sadistic sister Tina. Whoa! More shocking info soon, but first here's Bonnie with the plot.
Alright, so there's this talking cat. Yeah. So what he's trying to do is bring two families together. One family is the dad, it's a father and his son. The father is retired from this tech company of his own. Because because he had enough money to retire. But his son was kind of distant from him since he was working so much. So they weren't really on good terms.
No, they didn't bond well.
No communication whatsoever. And the other family is a mother and that has a daughter and a son. Let me explain a little bit about each character. So the mother of the two kids is a caterer. She owns her own business and she's trying to get investors to invest in her business. So it goes up. And her son is kind of, let's say he's not very smart in some ways. He doesn't have anything planned out, or he doesn't know what his passion is, he just works around the house fixing stuff like he usually does. But on his sister, on the other hand, she is kind of very geeky and nerdy in computer ways. She has everything planned out, ready to go to college, and she even made her own website / app on finding out what fits you. It's like a designing, something like that. But her inspiration was actually the father that's retired now and everything. So
he knew how to code, right?
Yeah, he's been coding for years, so he's very good at it. So he's retired and has a lot of money and just wants, but is very lonely. So he wants to, find someone.
So he started taking hikes by himself, right?
Well, I didn't finish with the
I'm
characters.
sorry. Okay.
But the one more. It was the son. The son, he is very nerdy too, but not in computer ways, more in English and Shakespeare and stuff. So he starts tutoring a girl named Franny, but she isn't very smart, and all she wanted to do was go in the pool and instead of, learning.
Kind of a bitch. Oh, no, wait. No, that was the cat that was a bitch. Or maybe it was a male cat, so nobody was a bitch. Go ahead.
Well, she had an attitude, I can say
yes,
that.
She did.
Yeah, so she's not very good
Typical
person.
Valley girl at the time,
Yeah. So, like you said, the dad went on hikes and he got a bit lost. So
he was lost from the beginning.
Yeah. So he found this house with a woman inside, and she offered him a glass of water, but she was kind of startled by him because he had his hair up in the air. He was all sweaty and everything.
Very overweight.
Yeah. But the woman was very nice to him, and they were talking for a while, but she was kind of in a hurry because she had to go meet the investors and everything. So then the next day passed, and so she had to meet the investors again. So she had to make these cheese puffs that were called, and so then the guy came down and took another hike to go meet the woman, but it was an unexpected visit. So he went, and she was in a hurry again and trying to make the cheese puffs, and so he said, let me help you. So he gets the cheese puffs, and he accidentally drops them all over the floor. So then she was devastated because she was in a hurry. But what she did was blame it on her daughter and said, if you don't make these cheese puffs, you're grounded. And she was furious with her. But I guess she kind of liked the guy, so she didn't really, say anything to him.
He was ready to eat him off the floor, but she wouldn't let him. So he liked him. A normal person would have dusted them off. You know how many things are dropped in a restaurant and you eat it anyway because you don't know they dropped it in the kitchen? I shouldn't have told you that.
Oh, no.
I used to work in one, I know.
But anyways, whole dilemma happened, and so but the daughter really wanted to talk to the guy and explain her own situation with her app, because she really wants to get good advice on it. And he was like the most technology.
Yeah, something like that. It's a long word, starts with a T.
Yeah.
Technological
guy that she knew.
He was a techie.
Yeah. And he was kind of her inspiration. So she really wanted to talk to him, but didn't want to make the cheese puffs. And he said he had 2 ovens that she can cook, but then the mother was like, no, he's a stranger, because they needed 2 ovens, but they only had 1. But her daughter went anyways without her permission and went up to his house and made the cheese puffs. The guy said, if you give me some cheese puffs, then I'll tell you.
He was a cheese puff monster.
Yeah, then I'll tell you or help you with your app. So basically, that's what happened. And she finally made the cheese puffs, but her mom was so furious. She was like, I know where she is. Yeah. So she sends her son to go find her. And the son found the house, but saw the geeky, nerdy kid in the water because he didn't know how to swim, which is so weird because he's been living in this mansion all his life and never learned how to swim. Like, that's kind of
pretty odd.
Yeah, so...
Anyway, they fell in love. Oh, no, that's a different movie.
No.
The 2 boys went swimming together.
Don't even make that look. That did not happen. But he taught him how to swim.
That was very nice of him.
Yeah. And it was weird because the guy didn't have a pool, but he still knew how to swim. Well, he said he was a lifeguard, so I guess that's...
But the mother lost her client because of this, and she felt betrayed by the 2 kids.
Yeah.
She was furious.
Mm-hmm.
And then Loverboy, the Phil, tried to make it up to her, and she didn't want anything to do with him anymore.
Yeah, because he didn't know what to say. He just said, I'm sorry.
That was a big conflict of the movie, the biggest dramatic scene, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So... Anyway,
well, I'm not going to spoil the rest because at the end there's kind of like a twist, a surprise.
It has to do with magic, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So that's all we're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the cat angle is good for kids under 8, and the teenage friction and romance is okay for older kids, but the potential romance for the 2 adults is hopelessly hard to swallow for the adult audience. So it's definitely not a film for the whole family. In fact, I coughed up a hairball halfway through the movie. Yeah. So.
The scenery is the best part of the movie. Filmed in a location in Malibu and... Silmar.
Yeah.
California.
Beautiful.
Near LA.
Yeah, it's very beautiful up there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the credits say that the DP, director of photography, is Mark Dent. But in actuality... Can you say that? Yeah. Actuality. David DeCoteau, the director who actually shot this, that was him. So he was pretending to be another guy. The big problem is that when they had the establishing shots to show where each family was located, they're always the same 2 shots. So it's hopelessly boring. It's a very simple-minded routine. This film
was a major disappointment to us 2 cat lovers, as there were no other cats in the movie. Yeah. There was no real dramatic plot involving Duffy the cat. Just 2 dysfunctional families.
The whole film is dysfunctional, my God! So they billed this as a comedy, but I only laughed twice and quickly licked myself to hide my embarrassment. Kind of like a cat does. Now for the shocking news flash. Now this is a big one, folks. Eric Roberts recorded the voice of Duffy the cat in his living room in about 15 minutes, and he was half drunk at the time. And I think you call that half in the bag. Yeah, so anyway, his deep whiskey-ravaged voice wasn't appropriate to match the cat at all. They needed another voice. We noticed that from the outset. It was not a good voice for a cat.
Sorry for letting the cat out of the bag, but it is our duty to report all dirty little secrets in the interest of protecting you viewers.
Yes, now for the big dirty secret. The director, David DeCoteau, has 163 credits as director of IMDb. Check it out. Many of those were in gay porn films. Yes, that's pretty serious. Which he did occasionally, alternating between them and directing children's films. That's what was so shocking about this. He often used the same sets for each type of film.
Ew.
A very toxic combination. So for this reason alone, we cannot recommend this film or this man, any other film by this man.
No.
And he's deceived the public in more than one way, not only in that way, but by pretending to be several other crew members on this film. He pretends to be the DP, Mark Dent, when he alone shot this. He pretends to be the director, Mary Crawford, when he alone was the director. So he's pretending to be two other people. Marco Colombo, we're not so sure about the writer, Andrew Helm, or the producer, Marco Colombo, but you might investigate these credits further at a later date.
I always thought that Colombo was one of the detectives.
Just a minute. I might have forgotten something. Anybody remember Colombo?
Yeah. The one-eyed detective.
Yes. Anyway, in light of all that we've told you so far, I give the Talking Cat a 9 on the Stinkometer, 10 being the worst possible rating. We're still feeling faint from the fumes. And what do you give it, Bonnie?
I give it a 9.5. The reason for that was because it was a really bad movie. Very bad. Some of the actors didn't really show emotion. They were very hesitant and everything. But mostly, biggest factor that the director did gay porn. And that just is so disgusting.
Yes.
That the fact that he does children film and gay porn is just like
too much.
Just so gross.
So watch this film at your own risk.
You have been warned.
So anyway, with that in mind, thanks for joining us with Little Stinkers.
Bye.
Ta ta.